Good.
Lights, Jeff.
All right. So that was the idea. Was what if you could do a company? Because for getting for me, it's who you take money from. It's not getting the money. So I thought, what if every time I made a hit, like we're all meeting at a convention like this, and you've put money into it, but it's like, holy fuck, it's like a stock, as if you could buy stock in Apple. You know, you're not getting sales from the iPhone, but you are getting your investment pieces going up. So if anyone wants to sign up, the QR code, you go to horrorsectionstudios.com, and you have to sign up with an email, and then you get the email invite from Republic. So it's kind of a crazy concept. And as soon as I first heard it, I'm always wary when people are like, here, give us money for a thing. But I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna try it, and I think it's gonna work. Because we have the money to make the movies. We have it. It's just taking a tiny piece of it and offering it to the fans to give, average audiences and die-hard horror fans who would never be involved in producing a movie. It's just democratizing it in a way that you now, if you want to, yes, you can buy a ticket to the movie, you can buy the Blu-ray, you can buy anything, but if you could buy a piece of the company and somehow be connected to every single thing that company makes, how fucking cool is that? So, but we can keep the lights up. I didn't mean to get moody and dark, although I like the after hours vibe. Yeah, let's turn the chandelier on again. Ghost fucking Wes, stop it, dude. Come on.
Jeff, we can turn the lights on if you can hear me.
Jeff is ready to leave. Jeff is hungry. But yeah, so there's a lot going on. So I have, obviously, this was came out while I was doing Thanksgiving. We still definitely want to do Thanksgiving too, but I'm looking at the next 5 to 10 years. I can't have another discussion with people. I can't explain to people why audiences want movies unrated, or why that's not too sick, or not too fucked up. And anytime people say to me, oh, that's too sick, I take that as a good sign, but but it's a fight every single time, and I just can't do it anymore. So Iconic, thank you. Don't touch the buttons. But yeah, Iconic releasing, they've been great. Obviously, they had tremendous success with Terrifier, and they loved it. They're like, okay, you can... And other filmmakers trust me to, kind of shepherd their movies, and I'm gonna be very selective. I'm not gonna be putting out 50 movies. I'd rather put 3 or 4 a year, but have those ones be fucking insane. So we're gonna, so that's it. So we're gonna get going soon.
When's the first one you project to come out? Or do you know what it'll be?
I do. I have an idea of what it's going to be. I have a really fucked up haunted house movie I want to do, and but just something like what the fuck, like House by the Cemetery level batshit crazy, and I don't want any fucking limits. I don't want anyone telling me that's too disgusting. I don't want to have to cut anything. I want to do Fulci level gore in a theatrical horror film. I've already talked to Adrian Moreau about doing the makeup effects. I want to do the movie that I want to see. Every movie I do should be well, if I die tomorrow, at least that would exist. So I'm not saying it because I want to die tomorrow, but I have to make it with that. So look, I had a great experience. I certainly learned a lot from doing studio movies. Good experiences, bad experiences, good outcomes, less than optimal outcomes. But when I make a horror movie, those are the ones that matter to me. When I think about the fact that people are still loving Cabin Fever or Green Inferno, just exactly. I always said, I remember when I talked to Quentin and told him the idea for Hostel, and I just turned down, well, by the way, yes, and we're gonna be doing, and trust me, it's even a fight for me to get remasters. So yes, we're gonna be announcing remasters of the classics. I'm fighting the battle, and I think I've got everyone there to do 4K rescans of everything. But it's just even explaining, I can't even tell you the discussions I had on Thanksgiving to explain why we had to do a 4K disc. They were but it's available 4K on streaming. I'm can we, do you understand what is still, the fans, the horror? So I was just let me do my own company where start to finish. I have the idea, I'm the studio head, I have the money, I make the movie, we release it in theaters. We're not making movies for streaming, no disrespect to streaming, that is not what we're doing. We're making movies for theaters, and then we can control it. And then have people that want to, if you want to be more involved in a movie, we're giving you the opportunity to, and you'll have the inside track on everything. And if you just want to see it in the theater, that's cool too. It's really just this fun option to get people, more excited about every film.
But it's seems like the difference to me is, and I'm looking at it from maybe your standpoint, where now it's kind of like the shackles are off, and now you're able to do what you want to do. Like, I know you and I had talked when we were at the Oak show, how frustrating, and the conversation we had really stuck with me afterwards, and I never really saw that side of it. But, like your name is going on a movie as the director or the producer, and so people associate you with that movie, good or bad. And when a studio says, when you have an idea, oh, this is what I want to do, and then a studio says, well, this is what we want you to do, and they change actors or characters or plots on you, even though they're the ones that got their hands in and maybe muddied the waters, you're the person whose name is associated with it for the rest of time. So like, I would, and I know how, I can imagine how frustrating that could be. And it seems like this removes that problem for you.
Well, it's frustrating, but they're paying you. So it's like, you get anesthetized. You're like, well, this is great. And then you're like, fuck. And you're like, but it's kind of great. Fuck. And there's this feeling that like, it doesn't matter what you're getting paid, it's not enough to fill the frustration of like, but this can be so much better. And you hired me because you trusted me, and now all of a sudden you're second guessing. It's the second guessing, it's thinking about it, it's more money, more problems, where suddenly like, I really believe that the studio system is truly broken. And broken in a way that the people that are making them, a lot of them don't even like movies or know the movies. So yes, there are like filmmakers that are doing it, like Chris Nolan and other people that can fully have that artistic control. And Quentin, and God bless them for doing what they want, but it's very, very rare. It's not, and it used to be like, there were DVD sales, there was more money, but now what's happened, because stuff just goes to streaming and you don't have that DVD money, it's created this ripple effect of panic where every movie is so fucking all or nothing on, and then you see like Mickey 17 and obviously it's fucking bong and it's a good movie and people like it and it underperforms and there's no backup. The backup plan to that would have been like home video, it'll make its money back. But now someone's head's gonna get chopped off, not like the way I would chop them off, but the metaphorical chopped off. Whereas when you're making a movie, like, even Thanksgiving, we made it for 15, it made 50 at the box office. I was like, let's make them for that, 5 million and under where you can go fuck nuts. I'd rather make a movie for $3 million that, Cabin Fever was $1.5 million, Hostel was 3.8 million, Green Inferno was 3 million. Like, these are the movies that matter to people and these are the movies that matter to me. So why am I trying to do this other thing when this is what I love? And before it was like, with piracy, like I got fucking pirated on Hostel 2. I got no money from clowns, so I was like, I can't afford to make these $2 million movies anymore because there's no DVDs, but now everything's changed. And I was like, all right, we now have a system where I can make a movie and we can, with Iconic, get out there in 2,700 theaters. And because of you guys, we all have a direct line to each other. I can post it on Instagram. You guys would know what it was. Whereas before you couldn't reach them. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I know we had talked too, and then I read into it some more afterwards. Just what we went through with the making of Cabin Fever. I mean, there were people, you had told me, whose houses were on the line, financially, because they had invested in you to make that movie. I mean, what a tremendous weight on your shoulders that had to be while you're making it, especially, now you're more well-known and, your name tag to a movie means much more, but, at the time of Cabin Fever, man, that had to be a tremendous, like, how did you sleep at night,
I didn't sleep. Everybody on Cabin, we all developed health problems from stress, like high blood pressure, like stuff you don't get at like 29 years old I had because Cabin Fever was such an anxiety. Glad the movie turned out scary because making it was so anxiety-inducing, only in that there were these dentists that were, we called them the Lunderguards after Jerry Lundergaard from Fargo. They talked like they were from Fargo. And so they were like, you should put Mario Lopez in your movie. I'm like, I love Mario Lopez, but I don't he's like the Beatles, Eli. He's like the Beatles. And this was before Dancing with the Stars. I was like, I love Saved by the Bell, but I don't know. So then they were like, they said they were gonna put the money in, but they weren't wiring the money, but we were like starting. They committed like $500,000 to us, which was to get us through the shoot. And 3 days before shooting, they dropped out. And we're like, what? And he's like, yeah, you gotta cast my daughter. I was like, your daughter's never acted. It's like, I know, but she wants to be one, and if I'm gonna pay for your movie, I'm gonna give her that dream. I'm like, well, then we're not working together. Like, they held me hostage, and that was it. And then we were like, begging for money. It was like, I remember we did this thing, it was so shameful and yet amazing. You couldn't do it now, but like, we gave the crew their checks on Friday, because the bank closed at 5, so we gave them their checks at 5, so they couldn't cash them. They would like, to wait till, you know, weekend, we had to wait till Monday, so all weekend, okay, we have 48 hours. I was like, quick, we called everybody we knew to wire money to our bank accounts so that when their checks went in on Monday, they would, I mean, it was that level of stress. I was like, Aunt Gladys is gonna give me $5,000, we can buy that film. It's like, great, oh, this person gave us $5,000. I mean, between takes, I was calling people asking for money, which is not an optimal way to make a movie. There's enough pressure. And then the union shut us down, which is why I went to Prague for Hostel, but they took all our money, so we had to limp back to LA, and then we're like with an incomplete film, and I'd have to show the movie with like blank chunks, scene missing, to investors, and finally we needed $700,000 to finish it, and then we got $350, which could get us to the shooting, and then we needed this other $400,000. So back then you'd send a rough cut of your VHS. So stop me if this is like insanely boring.
No, not at all.
Like, so there I am, like,
this is the stuff that people
no,
never
this is what
get to
happens.
hear.
So we're like, we're complete. Oh, by the way, I'm living in a $700 a month apartment, this thing, borrowing money from my parents. I'm 30, borrowing money from my parents to pay for it, charging like groceries on my parents' credit card. Cause I'm like, and they were so supportive. Like my dad's retirement was $100,000. He like put it into the movie. I'm like, and someone else, one of the producers, Sam Freya, like had double mortgaged his house. Like my dad would have been wiped out. I was like, there was so much pressure, and I was like, it's gonna work. Fuck, this better work. And you're just so possessed, being like, I have one mission in life, to make this movie. And I knew the rough cut. And there was no R-rated horror. People said R-rated horror movies are dead. I was told it is actually impossible to make more than $15 million all in on an R-rated horror movie. Horror is dead. And I was like, I think shitty movies are dead. Yeah. If you make a good movie, the audience is there. They've just been given crap, and they've just sort of forgotten what a good movie is. So anyways, I remember the last $400,000, we were waiting, and they were like, we had a sound mixing stage, this place, Nova Star in Hollywood. And we were sitting on the mix stage, and the guy's like, the boss just called, it's like, your deposit hasn't hit. We're like, what do you mean? So now at this point, I had sent the tape to the Toronto Film Festival, and they're like, we'll put it in this new thing we have, Midnight Madness. And we're like, well, the movie's not done. How long's the festival? They're like, it's 12 days. We're like, put us last, which is the worst slot. I was like, because the movie's not done. And I was like, put us dead last at midnight, just to give us a chance to, because we were mixing during the festival. And they're like, we've been accepted to the festival, they've given us a slot, and we're on the mixing stage, and the money hadn't hit. And we're like, what the fuck's going on? And we're like, call these guys, not the London guys, these are these guys out of Connecticut. And we're like, get them on the phone, and they're like, they're not answering their phone. So now it's like 9 o'clock. Now we're like, in theory, like paying for a mix stage, not mixing the movie, without the money there. We're like, what are we doing? And then finally, they called, and we're like, what's going on? And the guy goes, well, I had to show it to my 12-year-old. And we're like, what? He goes, yeah, to see if it was a good investment. He said, Dad, this is better than American Pie. We wired the money. It's literally like at a Mulholland Drive. Like the movie shut down, you go to the ranch, you give the cowboy the password or not. Like that's like fate. It's literally, and of course, I think Ty West put him, the kid, and gave him a cameo in Cat Fever 2. We're like, yeah, I owe that kid my career, because the whole thing would have been fun. Like, and then we wound up being dead last. But I remember Harry Knowles had heard about it from Ain't It Cool News was a thing, and I was like, dude, I'm a little worried because we're dead last, and everyone says everybody goes home on day 7 or 8. And so Harry wrote a whole thing going like, don't leave. I have a feeling about this movie. I've heard about it from some effects guys. Like, this might be the one. And so because Harry wrote that, this buzz started. I remember being at the lab, because you watch it, the film print, 3-color, timing, point of red, point of green. It was not digital. You just told the guy why you're watching the movie, little less red, little more green, little dark, that was it. Wow. It was cool, so that's how you did it. So I was at Deluxe watching it, and we did it, and I picked up the print, because I was physically carrying the print with me, like on day 9 of the festival, and I landed, and I saw a friend from film school who was working at Miramax, and he goes, dude, everyone who's seen your movie said it's fucking amazing. So you mean me? Like, I didn't tell him I was the only person who had watched the prints to check it at the lab and then took it with me on the plane. I was literally watching it, looks good, packed it up, got on the airplane.
Wow.
And he's like, dude, everyone's saying your movie's amazing. Like, the lie had spread so fast. And it was great. And then back then I was like, we're gonna make up DVDs and give out like little trailers and BTS. So making up a DVD was like a great, like, whoa, how did you make a DVD? We made up these little 10-minute trailers and we slipped them under everyone's hotel door. Wow. So all the buyers got these fucking, they're like, whoa, a DVD. Back then that was like a novelty. Everyone was still on VHS. And then, you know, they watched it, they watched the trailer, and then we had a bidding war in it. Then it became Lionsgate's, you know, they tested it and recut it. Then it became their top grossing film of 2003. And they're like, huh. And then number 2, House of a Thousand Corpses. Like, maybe there's something to this horror. And then they were like, yeah, we just bought this other movie, Saw. And then, you know, and then even Hostel. It was like, so that kind of, I remember being at the beginning of that way of trying to convince people. And I still feel like I'm there. I still feel like, and then Terrifier 3 proves it. And it's weird how in Hollywood, nobody wants to acknowledge it. They're like totally, almost embarrassed by it. It made them look kind of like, well, what the fuck are you doing if this movie just like proved you all wrong? Everything you were telling us you know about what the fans want and the horror fans and how to reach them, like, they're like, what is Terrifier 3? I was like, well, if you've been in the horror community, you know exactly what that movie is. And it's no surprise why that movie did what it did. But there were like but even now at the Independent Spirit Awards, to me, it's like, it's such a joke. Because I was like, the only movie that really should be honored is Terrifier 3. Like, how David Howard Thornton, how Lauren LeBaron, like, how they didn't get awards or at least nominated for the performance, like what you see them doing in that movie, I was like, and again, that's horror. It's like classic, like it's great, and I'm very happy for Coralie. I adore her, and her heart is so pure, and she's up there fucking pumping the blood, spraying it, like she was like, fuck it, and she wouldn't compromise her movie. She took it out of Universal, she's so French, she's like, I wouldn't fucking change it for anything, I don't give a fuck, I don't get like, fucking what are they gonna do, fucking sue me, fuck you, like I would love her. So, and so for Coralie, it's nice to see the Academy Awards, you know, finally recognizing to me more, and the makeup effects, like, it's beautiful. But we all know that I was like, there is no Terrifier without David Howard Thornton, and the guy does it with no lines. Like, his performance is so brilliant that we're not walking around like Art the Clown because it's gory or because the kills are good. It's the way he moves his head, the way he does a smile, the way Damien shoots him, the way Lauren, like Elliot, like the whole cast of that movie is so good. It's crazy to see Hollywood pretend it doesn't exist. So I was like, great, you guys go do that. And then unfortunately, a lot of directors are like, yeah, it's hard to pay our rent, because it is hard to make money on an independent movie. It's crazy, they don't pay you. I mean, even on like hits, they're like, yeah, it'll take 3 years to get your money. I was like, how about this? Why don't we just like release them, make them ourselves, release them ourselves, and just build IP, and then we don't need the studios anymore. We truly do not. Let's fucking build our own.